Welcome back to another episode of Weisy Wednesday on the Habs Tonight YouTube channel. I'm joined with Dale Weise himself and his brother Derek. How's it going, boys?
She's going, buddy. She's going. How's everybody feeling right now? You know, it's we've got a couple days to sink in here. Boys are into the conference final comfortably, and watching teams like Tampa, Carolina, Colorado, and Vegas. Obviously Carolina's done now, but these are tremendous teams battling it out, and Montreal's just enjoying some nice heat I see in Montreal too.
Let's not discard the Bruins or Islanders. That's been a great series.
Yeah, that game goes tonight as well. So that series could be over tonight, Game 6 right now, or in a couple hours here from when we're recording. Just to let fans know, this is a pre-recorded episode, just to talk about the upcoming series for the Montreal Canadiens and what's going around the league. But yeah, the Game 6 tonight, Islanders against the Bruins. I think they're in Nassau Coliseum tonight. So Bruins up against the ropes here and playing in the away barn.
And Rask is
Rask is starting tonight.
He is going to play, hey?
Yeah.
I think he's banged up a little still.
Yeah. What did you think of the Yank last game? Do you think straight injury prone, or you think Cassidy was kind of shaking things up a little bit?
Maybe we just kind of get the boys a spark or something. Because I mean, the whole ref thing that he did, I said right to Mackenzie right after the game. I'm like, he's trying to take the pressure off the guys, put it on himself, so it's not you trade for all these guys. You know, you're built to go, and now you're one game away from being eliminated.
Yeah, I think secretly, I mean, Rask probably does have something bugging him. I mean, who doesn't coming into the second, almost third round of playoffs? But he gave up a few goals. I know they were out shooting them. Like, I think it ended up being like 40-something to 19 or whatever it is. But, I mean, Swayman came in, played well. They almost came back. It was a 5-4 finish. And then now you have Rask starting tonight's Game 6. So he's not that banged up. But also, I think Cassidy, like Derek said, just a spark here. And if something is bothering him, just get him fresh for next game.
Yeah, I love when the coaches like kind of put the pressure on themselves a little bit, or if a team comes out and absolutely shits the bed, and then the coach makes some ridiculous comment post game, and that's all anyone can talk about. It's such a smart coaching move. I love when guys do that. I have so much respect for guys that do that instead of a coach that's coming out there and he's like, "Well, yeah, we didn't play very well tonight," and start shitting on his team. I love that. Just completely distract everybody.
Well, that's what Jared Bednar's doing, isn't it?
Just going to say that, yeah, after the first game, yeah.
I love it. I have so much respect for that. The boys respect that. That's unreal.
100%. Just take the heat off them. They've got enough to worry about. They're trying. It's not like they're out there not trying. So I agree with you, Dale. Like, just if I was a coach, I'd make all the attention on me. No, I wouldn't go full John Tortorella, but I'd just
but
deflect some of the attention from the boys.
If Brooksy's in the scrum, you can.
Brooksy's actually I've never seen Brooksy have a problem with any players.
No?
Minus maybe Dan Boyle. Was it Brooksy he was going after, or was it, you remember it was like
it was somebody, yeah.
It was his end of his career. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah,
Brooksy.
he had a bad night or something. He was like a -5, and he's like, you know what? I know what happened out there. Like, just leave me alone, man.
Yeah, and he just started giving it back to him. I want to say it was Brooksy, but I'm not totally sure. Staying on a New York Rangers topic, what'd you think of Sean Avery coming out and first his take on the Sheifele hit when he said it, and then what do you guys think about that?
Avery does Avery things.
Yeah, you almost expect it because it's almost like he demands attention even though he's out of the game. But one part of it I do have to agree with his thoughts on is, and this is why we've said it before, like, we're big Evans fans, hope he's okay and stuff like that. But he did have a valid point. Get your head up. You have 6 guys back checking you for an empty net. One of them's going to be close to you. I know Evan shoulder checked a little. He shoulder checked early, in my opinion. And you got to think when you're coming around the net, just get your head up, just to look, just to see if somebody's not there. And I don't know. I've been gone like back and forth on this so many times of deserved the 4 games, didn't deserve it. Evan should have head up. Sheifele should have made a play on the puck. Like, there's so many different components, and the game's so fast. I don't have the expertise to give a straightforward answer that makes sense, honestly. But Avery.
Yeah, Avery's one of those guys that can say things like that, and people just kind of laugh it off and they brush it off, and it's fine. And it's most of the things he says is pretty comical, but I feel like if anybody else said some of the things he said, he would get absolutely shredded. No, if you weren't him. But touching on, I want to just touch on it quickly. Derek, I'll throw to you first, and then Brando touch on it after.
Sure.
Do you think, obviously that happens in game one with Sheifele. Do you think that made as big of a difference as you thought it would? Or do you think if Sheifele plays, you get the same result?
I don't know, because I mean, Sheifele he's a big component on the power play. He's their top guy, right? He's a line driver. It almost looked like that whole team was deflated after, a 4-game suspension where, okay, you know what? Maybe we can get a split here, and then you lose 1, you lose 2, you lose 3, and you're like, oh, like there's because game 3 they were flat. And then in an elimination game, you put up 15 shots, 16 shots, maybe.
I agree. There's no desperation there. And then with the Sheifele thing, Dale, that first game was, 4-3, and the empty netter made it 5-3. So it was a close game, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Sheifele would have a bigger impact. I still think Habs would have came out of that series in 6 just by the way they were playing. But you lose your first-line center, and you hear it a million times. It's win the middle, win the game. Especially with the power play, like Derek was alluding to, it's just a big key component. And I know Sheif had some weird things to say in the media today, saying like he was expecting to get shut down by Phil Deneau, but the Department of Player Safety shut him down instead and stuff like that. So
was he joking when he laughing when he said it?
No, he's serious.
He's pissed.
Yeah, he said Department of Player Safety shut me down, not Phil Deneau.
Wow.
So he thinks if he was in that series, it's completely different.
Because he still has 1 game next season.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. I agree with both you guys. I think he makes a difference. I think he balances their lines out a little better. Definitely makes their power play a little better. But I just their response was crazy to me. Just the way their team played. And taking a couple of days and thinking about it now, like I'm still in shock that they swept that series. Not that Montreal didn't deserve to win every game, because they did, but I'm just a little shocked at it was such a roller coaster of emotions being down against Toronto. You're like, whoa, this could be it. Then the boys get on a roll. You win game 7. You're like, okay, that was huge. Now let's see what can happen. And now that they've swept the Winnipeg Jets, which nobody expected, the expectations are sky high for this team. I'm just basing on just some of the comments I see on social media, but you get some of the experts. Of course, TSN shooting it down. But I feel like from a fan standpoint, and everybody that's watching our channel, the expectations are sky high. Like it's Stanley Cup or nothing at this point, and people would be disappointed.
For sure. Now, I have a question for you guys. I think I might have asked Derek this one just through text or whatever, but coming down to the end of the regular season, we were almost talking like, is this going to be it for Berge? Like if they miss playoffs or if they get swept in the first round. So now they win the first round in 7. So he gets a little bit of like a safety net for his job per se. Same with Ducharme. And then they sweep the second round. So now, like, is the team actually this good? Or is it still the same team with inconsistency issues? So what's Berge thinking come off season? Like, is this Stanley Cup contending team? What do you do for moves? But also you got to think of the division next year. You're going back with Tampa, Toronto, Boston, Florida, Rangers. Like, it's going to be interesting offseason. I know we're not there yet. I know we're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to get into the next series and stuff. I just want to get your thoughts. Like, does this kind of almost like how you guys did in the bubble last year? You guys showed that little bit of jump or spark, and Berge is like, okay, I think we're there. But everybody else is like, okay, we weren't in a playoff position to begin with. So is it like a false image, a false hope here?
I don't know. You look at, we had 2 8-game losing streaks, and we finished 24th in the league. And everyone was like, hey, everybody needs to go. This is it. Like, these guys are done. Then, you get in, the boys play well. We beat Pittsburgh, almost beat Philly, had a really good chance against beating Philly. Philly was almost like, they rolled 9 games in the playoffs, won every game in the round robin there. So it was kind of like, we weren't expected to beat them. But now it's the same thing. Okay, wasn't a great year. Got off to that tremendous start. Tyler Toffoli beats Vancouver, 30 times in a row. And then they kind of, had some injury troubles, whatever, and didn't play well. But now you get on a run and you're looking at it like, okay, maybe Ducharme has finally got the boys playing the way he wanted to. And he's making the most of the roster that he has. So you got to think this buys them another safety net for sure. But then again, if you come out in the regular season next year, you're in that division, you're playing those teams, and you're in the basement, like you're like, okay, enough's enough. Carey Price can only win so many playoff rounds before you got to try something different.
I totally agree with Dale there. I think his job is safe now for the year, but coming in next year, I don't think you want to overdo it by bringing in too many guys. I think you want to get those young guys up, get them developed because of the reason of that division. And who knows, right? Like what's going on with the other teams. Tampa's got to cut cap. Boston got to sign guys. Florida's going to be hungry to go again. Toronto, obviously them too. Like that.
Even Ottawa's going to be good next year.
Yeah. And you could argue the fact that if Ottawa didn't shit the bed coming out of the gate for the first 15, they're right there at the end of the season fighting for that playoff spot with you.
Absolutely. And those guys are only going to take another step. All their good young guys.
Yeah. And especially with expansion coming up, most likely going to lose your backup. Yeah. He was a big part when Carey went down. So
huge.
You know what I mean? It really is hard to think, just focus on the now, worry about that next year, I think, because you have a really good chance here where next year you're going to probably be fighting for a wild card.
For sure. That's an honest statement. Honestly, like that's just how good that division is. There's some
scary.
Good teams there. There's some
scary.
Good teams there. Some really good teams. Torn Blonde, by the way, is that what you're drinking there, Derek?
Yeah, I'm keeping the streak alive.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm on the waters tonight, thank God. But I was going to ask you, Dale, because Gallagher talked about it today in his post-practice scrum, we'll say. He said he was a fairly younger guy in 2014 when you guys went conference finals. And he said the older guys tried to tell him, like, this doesn't happen easy. Like, it's pretty tough to get this far. And he said he was a little bit naive then, didn't appreciate it as much, didn't realize how hard it truly was. And then now he's kind of appreciating it. So maybe I was going to get your thoughts of actually finally reaching a conference final and then what the boys in the room are feeling, what they're thinking as well, and like what they're trying to reiterate, to the young kids. Like, this doesn't happen easy. Like, Price has been there, this is his third time?
Third, yep.
Yeah.
2010, yep.
You're so close too, right? So maybe just elaborate just for some of the fans that are going to listen to this afterwards of how hard it is to get to the conference final and then what's the mindset? Because it's anybody's game now.
Yeah, it's almost like, if you get there, you kind of expect to be there the following year. So my first year in Vancouver, they went to the Stanley Cup final the year before. And, the last 3 months, we ended up winning the President's Trophy. We were the best team in the league. And the last 3 months, it was like we weren't even focusing on the regular season. It was like, let's go about our business here, but we're worried about the playoffs. Let's make sure we're at the top of our game for the playoffs. And, we got in the first game and we played LA. We lost game 1. And everyone was like, yeah, whatever. It's one game. We lost game 2. We lost game 3. We're down 3-0 all of a sudden when we were expected, everybody in the dressing room, all management, everything expected to go to the Stanley Cup final again. And before you know it, in 6 days, you're down 3-0. And the mindset is just crazy. And, Gally makes a really good point there. When we went to the conference final in 2014, we had some really good older leaders, and we talked to Georgie and Brian Giunta and a guy like Prusty, like just vocal guys that make sure everybody appreciates the moment, and it doesn't happen very often. You're not going to be like on a dynasty team with the way the NHL is now. You're not going to get there every single year. So it's we talk about having those older leaders, the guys like Eric Stahl that kind of got shit on down the stretch, and Corey Perry, and man, let's just look at the wonders that they're doing on ice. And I can probably imagine, they're doing that and more off ice for the young guys. And obviously being down 3-1, you heard guys talk about, Stalzy had stuff to say and stuff like that. So, man, and when you're a young guy, there's no way you can really appreciate it. You think you're going to play forever. You think it's going to go on forever. And very quickly, your career's over and you're like, holy smokes, what happened?
I was going to say, especially with a guy like Edmondson in that room where that St. Louis team was written off, right? And they made that huge comeback, regardless of what everyone says. Okay, yeah, whatever. They get in, they're not going to get going anymore. There's no way they're beating this team. All that matters is what's in that room at this point. They shut out everything else, and they believe they can win. And that's really all you need at this point. You're 8 wins away from the ultimate goal.
Yeah, there's nothing more powerful than that when you get a group that believes, and you can see it. You could see the way they were playing that they believed, and man, that's a powerful thing going forward here.
Yeah, so what we're kind of, for this show's purpose anyways, was just to talk about the potential next game or next series matchup for the Montreal Canadiens in the, we'll say conference final, semifinal, whatever you guys want to call it. But it's coming down to Colorado or Vegas, and game 6 for them is tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how this is going to go, boys. I don't know. Maybe we'll get your thoughts of who I don't know if we'll go that way. Maybe what your thoughts on that series anyways to begin with, and then we'll maybe touch upon the potential line combos of the teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, to me, I'll touch on it first there, Dare. To me, I think Vegas has been the better team. They look dangerous as a whole. I like their whole lineup. I love their goaltending. Man, they look good. They look good. As a Montreal fan, this is crazy to say, but I think I would prefer to play Colorado. The way I watch Vegas play. Man, I could see Max Pacioretty just running wild on the boys against his old team. Like they look good. They look real good. So I think Vegas is going to end up winning that series. I think they close it out next game, but Derek might have a different opinion on that one.
No, I've been saying it all along. Colorado was lucky to win game 2. This series could be over already. But I mean, Colorado came out the gate. They won 6 straight, and now they've lost 3 in a row. So you got to think those guys in that room are like, okay, guys, like, again, this is happening. Like, we got to step up here. And you see it last night, like Donskoy scored. So you get some depth scoring there. Sod scored. I think the defense, and I'm not 100% sure the stats there, but I think if you look at the Vegas stats, everybody's contributing. Where Colorado is what you're expected. It's just the top 3. So, and it is Gruby. Is he ready to go all the way here? Because he was hurt, right?
Yeah, let's take a look here.
It's pretty much what you expect. It's you shut down that one line.
Yeah.
And
Sod's got 7 goals. He's having a hell of a playoffs.
Oh yeah. But aside from
there's just, and the minutes are you're going to continue. I know Nathan McKinnon's exceptional, but you're going to play 20 minutes a night, continuing going forward. You're going to play 7 games and then maybe get into a heavy series against Montreal.
Yeah. And Vegas is just bullying them right now.
Yeah.
Like if you see here, there's no one running away with them. It's goals by committee here.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the minutes, Stone's playing 20, he plays everything, but everything else is pretty spaced out.
Just their first pairings at 23 minutes, Theodore and Pietrangelo. So
yeah,
they're rolling 4 lines is what they're doing. Same as Montreal.
Shea Theodore on the second pairing, and then they got that young kid Zach Whitecloud who's looked outstanding. So
look at this. Let's take a look at the lineup here.
Yeah, like Kolasar hasn't looked bad. I like Alex Tuck. That Marchessault line is really starting to fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dangerous lineup. And great, like you said, Dale, great goaltending in net, Fleury and Leonard. I just want to ask, because we were like a week ago, I think all of us, like even the whole hockey world was like, why did they play Leonard game 1? And then we kind of said like, oh, they must be resting Fleury, kind of knowing that they're set up for failure game 1 after playing a game 7, traveling, and then playing Vegas. But now they look like geniuses. You let Leonard, Leonard's probably not pumped about it, but he gets peppered. First game, they lose, and then Vegas puts Fleury back in and starts going.
And here we go. So I think those are 2 like bona fide number 1 goaltenders. So it's not even you go up against Vegas Knights, and you're worried about, okay, maybe we can chase their first goaltenders. It's just not going to happen. You got 2 great goaltenders. That defense is incredible too. Shea Theodore is like his coming out party last playoffs. What was incredible. I thought he was insane, and he's only gotten better this year. Like he's a treat to watch.
This is a Vegas team that's been to the final before. A lot of them are still there. So
yeah.
they've and aside from that San Jose debacle, they get through that series. They could have went again.
They probably would have.
This is a good team.
Yeah.
And they brought in Cup experience with Alex Pietrangelo this year too, like a leader, ex-captain of a Stanley Cup champion team. So now they got a guy that's been there. Fleury's done it 2 or 3 times. So it's just they scare me, honestly. And I've been the biggest Habs positive guy there's been
For
all
sure.
year.
For sure.
So-
Is there any way Colorado comes back and wins too?
For sure.
No, that series came off.
If you look during the regular season where they had Burakovsky, Nikushkin, Donskoy's in there, like these guys can score, but they haven't really gotten going. So
Yeah.
you need some kind of spark, right? I bet you Landeskog will jump up for next game. Yeah.
This lineup, and I think they're a great team, and their top guys are as good as anybody in the league, and I don't know if you can really shut them down, a la Kyle Connor, that kind of thing. But outside of that top line,
It reminds me a lot of Toronto.
yeah,
Very top heavy. The defense are different, obviously, but you know what I mean?
right. And then obviously Kadri comes back in, and he's gonna, where do you slot him in here? He jumps in at number 2. He's in the 2 hole there.
Yost would be the guy to come out.
Is Comfer centers their second line always? That was that.
No, Kadri's second line center.
Okay, and then Comfer
Right?
side,
and then Belly's on the 4th line there.
Okay, yeah,
And then that new hook, he's looked good. But Donskoy, I think it was Donskoy, Comfer, and Burakovsky all season, and they had put up points. I think the whole Kadri suspension has kind of messed up their lines a bit, where they outscore their problems, but now you run into this juggernaut of Vegas, where you're being exposed.
And Kadri would be back for Game 7.
I believe so.
Ooh, that would be
And that's the
interesting.
thing too.
Saturday
with
night.
Kadri. He's done this to his teams before. We've seen it in Toronto. Like it's got to be so frustrating. I know he's not trying to do it on purpose and stuff, and we can talk about the hit if you guys want to. I don't know if it's 8 games, but it's been appealed and reappealed, stuff like that. But I mean, as a player, he must be so just disappointed that he's done it again in playoffs, where he takes a suspension and then the team just crumbles because he plays such a great, or an important role, I should say. He's usually a 2 or 3C. He plays power play minutes on probably the second unit or first unit, depending on what they're doing. But it's just a key component, and you can't have guys like that going down.
No, he's such a good player. And when he went out for Toronto, they had the huge hole, and you're seeing the same thing now. Like he's a really good center. And when you look at those lines and you don't have him in there, when I look at him, it looks like there's a big hole in the middle there. Like, no disrespect to Comfer, I think he's a great player, but he's not Nazem Kadri. And, to speak on the hit, I don't think the hit's 8 games. Like, that's a good playoff hit in my eyes. But again, it's like it's a predatory hit. You hit him in the head. It's east-west. I understand the ruling behind it. But to me, like, that was hitting like 10 years ago. Like,
but wouldn't people argue if you're going through the slot, you need to expect to get hit?
Yeah, I think you
know
do.
what I mean?
You do. There's
Like,
got to be more responsibility on the guys getting hit. 100%. What, like you it's a physical game. You got to know you're going to get hit out there.
Falk's admiring the shot going through. Like, you're in the slot, right in the tracks.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Kadri so good too. Like, he has an edge to him. Like, he's got great skill. He can score. He can shut guys down, but he's got some edge to him. Like, he's not afraid to smash guys.
That's for sure.
Kind of a tough spot too, with a guy following through and kind of like going down and then him coming through. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to go there, but it's just with the guy coming through, and then because you saw the Palat hit last night.
Yeah.
There's no announcement today.
No repercussions.
Why? Because the guy didn't lay there?
They said it was gentle, and they felt that the penalty fit the description or whatever.
Interesting.
Can we get a Price is Right wheel on here, and we'll just spin it and see who gets what?
It's such a tough job. Like,
things happen so fast, right?
Yeah, the player safety's got a tough job too. Like, I feel bad for George Peros because
why not put it on a referees, like an ex-referee as the head guy, not an ex-player?
That's
Isn't
an
Carey
int-
Fraser?
They know all the rules.
that's
They
an,
know the
that's an
flow.
interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. I think the players might have voted that they want a guy that's played. I don't know. I could be
Okay.
just fucking throwing that out there. But
Isn't I think Carey
Actually-
Fraser has a bit of a part in that, does he not?
I'm not sure, buddy. I'm not sure. What's your thoughts on Makar so far in this series?
He's getting
Me?
shut down. They're clogging that neutral zone. Vegas is doing exactly what I think Montreal would do to Colorado if they played them. They're slowing them down. They're clogging them. You don't see Nate McKinnon with that big wide open speed through the middle anymore. I think that's why I was hoping Colorado's a matchup for him. But I'll let Derek get into it because he's probably watching a little bit more.
I think Makar found some room yesterday, but it's kind of like everyone collapses again where you're not getting that slot shot and then guys going through in the rebound. But, come next game, they're coming out with everything, right? Knowing that if you win, you get your number 2 center back. And then it's game 7, Saturday night. Anything can happen.
Yes, I agree. I think he's been good. I think he's been good when I've watched. I think he's an elite defenseman, man. I think he's been good, but I think he's got to be a guy. Again, they rely so heavily on their top guys. McKinnon, like these guys got to come out and they got to find a way to win a hockey game in game 6, and then who knows in game 7, right?
I'm gonna throw this. Is Byram still hurt? I'm just asking because I think he was hurt, but is he scratched? Because I mean, there's a spark you could bring in as another young, quick defenseman who can put up numbers.
I think he must be hurt. They were loving him.
He's good too.
Yeah.
That whole decor is good. Like they're young. Like wait till Makar's 24 to 28.
Yeah.
Would you think Sakic's down in that room? Maybe chatting with some of the top guys, like, hey, just giving some insight on like some of the wars he went through and the comebacks and whatnot.
For sure, you got to think he is a guy that
GMs do that. That have played.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like man, Berge is always in the room talking.
Okay,
I know in the playoffs he comes in before every series and gives a big speech all the time. It's pretty good. He's a pretty good talker when he gets going. So it's I guess guys that have played, they come in and throw a little bit of inspiration. But I would think Sakic at this point is like, man, you had a good team last year. Everybody thought, okay, this could be your year, and now again
they won the President's Trophy,
and here you are.
The curse.
I can see them also end up being like a Tampa too, where it's gonna if they don't get it done this year, it's gonna take a while, but they're gonna be one of those ones because Nate McKinnon came out and said it again. He's taking a pay cut again.
Really?
Because he wants to win there. Yeah, he came out and said it. He'll take another pay cut because he's only making 6.5 or 6?
Yeah, 6 even.
But will everybody else?
I think if Nate does it and nobody else is better than Nate, what are they going to say?
Good Maritimes boy, eh?
Yeah, East Coast.
How much isn't Rantanen coming up too?
Yeah, this would be. He's not still on his entry, is he?
No.
How many years? How many years been in the league?
He just came out of his RFA, I think. Didn't he?
5? I don't know. Not stats, guys.
I'll look it up while you guys keep going.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's. He
can't
be past 5 years in the league, no?
Room. I think so.
You think he would?
I think so.
You think he's been 5 years? Yeah.
4 or 5?
Yeah. I'm trying to think back on
this is Makar's third, is it not?
I think so.
No, never mind. Second full season.
Okay. He's not for the Norris.
But anyway, circling back around though, there was reports that Gainey was in the room today talking to the boys, getting them fired up to not get too excited and whatnot, and just stay level-headed.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, I never saw Bob Gainey around the room my whole time with Montreal, so that's interesting.
Quickly, Rantanen's contract from 2019 to 2024, 2025, 9.25.
9.25 for how many years?
Till 2024, 2025.
5 years.
So he's got another 3 years left, counting next year, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
So he's already getting paid.
Nate's not taking less than that. How's he going to take it? How's he going to take less than that?
Oh, I don't know. Unless he's really serious, where he's like, I want to win here. Maybe he takes Maybe it takes the exact same, but we've seen these guys, our teams. You can't pay everybody $10 million and expect to win. Like Toronto's a prime example of that, and I'm not shitting on them. It's just you can't have 4 guys making 40-some million and then have a bunch of 750Ks and expect to win.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work.
It's not going to happen.
You just sit 2 of them on long-term IR and bring them in for playoffs.
Tampa's done a real good job of that one.
I'm just saying.
Holy smokes. Wasn't that fitting?
How does that work? Like, really?
Yeah, if Tampa goes on to win again, that there's going to be a rule that you can't do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They follow the rules, so we can't complain too much, but they're like $19 million over the cap.
Yeah.
And Kucherov was skating 3 months ago at practice.
Yeah. Come on. Come on. Like, he's getting paid. He's like, I'll just show up. I don't have to play till playoffs. Perfect. Yeah, like, exactly. He doesn't care. It's unreal.
We're getting in. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's such a good bet by the GM, too. He's like, I know we're going to make playoffs. Cooch, you're going to go on IR all year. Stammer, make sure we get a good start here. Then you're going to come out. And then we're going to sign a bunch of guys to the deadline and wait. I know Stamkos is hurt. I'm just playing, but
no, that's funny, man. So let's finish up with Montreal here. Let's let's talk about their lineup. Same lineup going into game 1, regardless of who we play.
What's the story on Evans though? Because now you get that week off, depending how the concussion was.
Here's the thing. So he's had a couple serious ones in the last couple years. Like last year, Pittsburgh. Like, it wasn't much of a hit, but he was kind of knocked out, and he had a bad one, I believe, in Laval the year before. He's had some bad ones now. So, every concussion protocol is the same, but now that you've had this many serious ones, do you take a little more time? Obviously, the guy wants to come back into the playoffs. Like, again, we touched on it. Like, you don't know how many times you get opportunities like this, but he comes back in. Who's coming out?
I'm not going to say Stahl again. That's for sure.
You can't. That line was so effective. They were so effective even more so. I think
been effective in his role too.
Lecky was good. I don't think you take him out for Jakey to come play on that line.
No, not this early.
Not when he's played that well. He scored the last 2 games.
I know.
And the line looked good. They looked really effective with the 3 of them. They were skating well. Phil was flying up the middle. Galley, I think, is going to be better this series. I don't think you take Lecky out.
No, I don't think you change anything with the forward lineup. Not the way they're playing. I mean, Lehkonen does exactly what Evans did. I think Evans got a little bit more speed, but Lecky's scoring. He's doing the PK. I know they might want Evans in just for the face-off component of it, but I don't know who would come out, honestly. And you're not going to take
13 forwards, 5D.
So they're basically using 4D anyways. That's my question mark, though, is if Beautiful Man's ready to go game 1.
I think Beautiful Man's going to play. I think he's going to be in game 1. I think he gets the 3-finger glove and he plays.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
I mentioned it on the post game show in game 4 that I did my pinky. I mean, it's still kind of mangled. It's like doesn't really bend and stuff, but
that looks normal to me.
I just had the 3-finger glove and it honestly felt normal. Like it really didn't affect you. Obviously, if you get slashed a little bit, like it hurts, but I would fully expect a Beautiful Man to be up there looking beautiful for.
So you got Romy coming out because Gustafsson, right? The power play, that goal.
I think Romy comes out, but you can bring him in at any situation by the way he played. I think
he didn't have one shot against when he was out there. Like his Corsi or whatever his fucking stat they count it. Not one shot against.
I honestly think you might keep him in against Vegas.
Really?
Just he's faster.
As opposed to
forwards are
taking off. What about your power play, though?
I just think that
against a really good defensive team, I don't know how much you're going to score.
And Gus is rolling too. That unit's the one that's scoring. It's not the Weber one. It's Gus, Suzuki, Caulfield, Toffoli, Perry.
You saw him get exposed on a few times against the Jets, and I think Vegas is 10 times the team they are. So you might get an unruly surprise come game 1 when you're like, uh-oh.
Whoa.
And then what if you play him 5 minutes and then he sits on the bench the rest of the way?
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can have that. I don't think they. I mean, I know you have the rest now, but I don't think you can continue to play 4 defensemen that way.
No, not the way they're going. Especially now, beautiful man is like he's banged up, so that's like confirmed he's banged up, so he's not 100%. And then with how fast they are, and one person actually, I'm gonna say something good about it before is how great Weber's been these playoffs. But then with the speed of Vegas too, with him playing that many minutes, that might catch up to him because these semifinal rounds, it's not going to be 4 or 5 games. It's going to be 6 or 7, I think. These are the best teams in the league, like trying to get to the Stanley Cup final. So I don't know. The decor, I think it's Romy that comes out just because I think I saw someone who's like 31% power play since Gustafson's been in the lineup. So
I think it can change very quickly, though. I think it can change quickly. Like you just said, Derek. I think Romy can come in and play more substantial minutes than Gus, which I think, like Brando just said, you're going to need more guys. You can't continue to play those minutes if you're going to go 5, 6, 7 games in the series against these kind of teams.
Yeah, and they're heavy. They hit everything.
Yeah.
The
Revo, the freight
train. Him and Perry will have a good go at it. But I mean, I'm not writing Colorado off. That team can easily string together a couple wins here
for sure.
I mean, as a Montreal, watching in, you almost want to see them go 1 or 2 overtimes again tomorrow, and then a couple overtimes, game 7, come into game 1 and steal one on the road for sure.
I don't know if you'd want to play Colorado if they come back and win 6 and 7. Great point. That's almost like, okay, the team is finally they're over the hump now. They were down and out, and then they found some character in that locker room. They won 2 in a row. That could be the step that, launches them to the Stanley Cup. I don't know if I'd want to play a team at that point.
Almost you want Colorado to win and then Vegas win game 7.
What's the time change to Colorado and to Vegas? Is there an hour in between those two, for time change?
Really sure.
I don't think so. I think they're same time. I think they're
what? 3 hour
Pacific. 3 from Montreal.
Oof. You go.
That's another thing too.
Every second day, that time change
that throws you for a loop, man. You can't sleep.
Right?
It's brutal.
How about the air quality in Colorado?
Colorado's awful, man. Like I said, we talked about it before. It is bad.
It's probably really a decent spot, but it's awful to play hockey there.
Well, yeah, the beautiful spot to play. It's sunny every day there. But you get on the rink, man, I'm telling you, you can't recover on the bench.
So, I got to ask you too. So I know Stanley Cup finals, they usually there's usually 2 days between games or whatever.
Yeah.
But now that this Montreal's going all the way to Vegas or Colorado, either or, it's still a decent travel. They hopefully give these guys a little bit of rest here. Because they completely sewered the Canadian division. We've talked about this, Derek and I. The back-to-back shit, we've all brought it up and stuff. And then now they're waiting for the South, which is kind of ironic and funny. But the scheduling
final will be 3 and 4 right off the top.
I mean, you're the only 2 teams playing, so there's no setup there. But I don't know. They're trying to get the season over with. We're already into almost mid-June. By the time this gets mid-round. Stanley Cup final to July, you get August off. September's training camp for the NHL again. It's holy smokes, it's a quick turnaround.
Season too.
And then you're right into the 82 game grind. It's
because they're planning on starting on regular time, right?
Oh yeah,
mid-October, October 12th, I think, is the tentative date.
Yeah, that's quick.
But I was just asking, just for the scheduling, because I thank God the Habs got a few days off. Because I was I know you guys touched on it in the post game show after the series, and we alluded to it as well. I was on the fence. Part of me was I don't want them to have a break. They're rolling. I loved how they're playing. Pricey's in a rhythm, and then now they get this break. And if Vegas does win tomorrow night, they go again Saturday. So it's almost it wasn't too long of a break, but enough to get your legs back. I'm just hoping that when they're playing Vegas or Colorado, they account for the travel, because Tampa and Boston or the Islanders don't have that crazy flight and time difference. This is a big time zone difference, let alone how far they're traveling.
Huge. I honestly, to touch on the break, I think it's perfect amount of time. Like it's absolutely perfect amount of time. It's just enough that you take a day or two off, you have a light practice, work on some special teams, boom, then you have a couple hard practices, you're right back into it. I think it's perfect timing. It's not, well, again, if it goes to Monday, that's a little long, but if it's Saturday, I'm not concerned one bit about the rest at that point.
Any thoughts on that,
Would they
Derek?
fly out Friday?
You'd have to get used to the time
Yeah,
zone.
you got to go to. It's always that first day when you fly to the west. You wake up
right?
you wake up like 5 a.m. and you're just wide awake, and you're like, holy smokes!
Nothing wrong with that.
So
they might I know they had one complete day off yesterday, and then there was off ice workouts today. You got to think, like you said, that light practice tomorrow, get back in the rhythm. Maybe a hard practice Friday, fly out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
if the series ends tomorrow night. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all betting on Vegas here at this point.
Yeah.
Hey,
The way they're playing, 7.
You think it's going 7?
I think it goes 7. Colorado squeaks out a chippy one on a bad goal
in Game 7.
No, tomorrow night. Whoa.
Okay, but you think they lose Game 7?
Vegas? In Vegas? No, it's in Colorado.
They're in Vegas tomorrow.
They're in Vegas tomorrow. Ooh, that building's going to be rocking.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of counting them out.
I think it all depends on how Colorado plays in the first period. If they can get 1 or 2, which is, it's been tough for them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then who are you taking in Game 7 then? If they manage to win Game 6, who are you taking?
I don't know.
Who's Montreal going to play? Vegas. Vegas is going to end it tomorrow.
I think Vegas is going to win. I think in 7, Vegas.
Okay, Brando.
I got Vegas in 6. I think playing in Vegas tomorrow night. If Vegas scores one early, I think they're. I can't say they're going to fold per se, but I just don't know if Colorado can get past that. I think it might just deflate them so much. And I got Vegas in 6. I think it ends tomorrow night as well. I think the series for Montreal, Vegas starts Saturday night.
Oh,
Vegas has got a sellout crowd too already. So
yeah, that's going to be exciting either way.
I was going to say, how would that be for one of those teams to have all those fans and then to come back to only 2,500 or something?
Oh, dude, that'd be a huge disadvantage. Like,
you know what I mean?
They're so used to playing with fans right now,
especially Vegas's fans.
Yeah, the building is so loud, man.
Yeah,
even from warm up, it's pounding there, and then you're going to come to Montreal, and it's going to be 2,500 people. It's going to be like,
which have sounded good. They're going to sound like 2,500. He swears to God.
Yeah.
Or 25,000.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I read your mind.
We need to get that guy on cans for Game 1.
Oh. Just say the same phrase over and over. But just quickly, I want to get your thoughts on Game 6 tonight. Islanders, Boston. Yes, I got that right. They're in the Islanders rink tonight, the Coliseum. Is that over tonight, or is that going 7?
I think Islanders close out. They're so good in that building. They're going to have the killer instinct today, I think, for sure. So I think Islanders wrap up, and then I think Tampa strokes the Islanders in 5 games in the semifinal over there.
No, I think I have to agree. Like, I don't think nobody's stopping Tampa. Not the Islanders or Boston. I don't think. I know the Islanders are going to try to slow them down, the trap, kind of what Montreal's been doing.
Yeah,
I just don't know if you can, because Tampa can play that game, and then they can play the wide open. It's like, take what you want. They'll play your way.
I don't think their defense. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I honestly think, I love Montreal, but I think Tampa is the team to beat right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. What are you saying there, Darren? Yeah,
their defense hasn't scored a goal yet through 2 rounds.
Yeah, and their defense are good.
That's scary.
They got great defense.
Yeah, and then you got Vasilevsky in net.
Oh, incredible!
It's almost like going back to the 2014 years with Ben Bishop, where it was just like impossible to beat him. It seems.
God, he was so good in the playoffs. You couldn't score on that guy in the playoffs.
But quickly here, before we wrap up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because once playoffs are over, I know this is when our big guests start rolling in. You've said it from the start, Dale, that you're waiting for the season to be over because these guys are way too busy to bug them anyways. So subscribe. We've got tons of content coming out. I know we'll have the live pregame show before game one, whoever they're playing against. Post-game shows will be flying. Two of the leagues going. Crushing Cans will be going. And social medias. Follow all social medias. Habs Tonight on all social medias. I just want any last words from YouTube before we hang them up here.
Yeah, I just want to obviously thank everyone that's already subscribed to our channel, and if you haven't, be sure to subscribe, like our videos, leave comments, message us on all of our socials if there's anybody that you would like us to interview. I'll certainly try my best and reach out to them and see what they say. I know I messaged quite a few guys already, just kind of teeing up a couple when they're done this season. So we got a good lineup. Once things wrap up in the playoffs, we'll start pumping out a couple more of those interviews. I know people love those. So be sure to subscribe, and thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it.
You good, Dare?
You guys pretty much touched on everything. That's awesome.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again. This is a Weisy Wednesday. A little bit different pre-recorded, but hey, we're getting reared up and ready to go for game one of the series, whether it be Vegas or Colorado. But let's go, and don't forget, go Habs, go.
Woo.